Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Say yeah! Woohoo! Oh, that's a great line. That is a great line.
Almost fucking killed me! You're welcome!
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the Let's Talk About series where we talk about everything, movie, TV, video game, anything you want to talk about. These are topics that interest me. You know, the topics I go out, find, and I think you guys are going to enjoy as well, but also me as well. And we got some really interesting, cool topics today. Some really cool things. So let's get this episode started. And we're going to start off with our first topic here. So, we just had The Fall Guy come out this weekend, and we were all wondering if it would do great at the box office or not. Well, I guess not really that great. According to The Hollywood Reporter, box office The Fall Guy lands with $28.5 million. Phantom Menace tops Challengers for number 2. And, you know, it's weird because the big story in here is not The Fall Guy, because The Fall Guy was very low expectations. But the real story, I feel like, we gotta talk about is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. You know, a re-released film coming out gets second at the box office, making $8.1 million. A movie that came out 25 years ago, you know, gets second place like that. That I think is astute to like how great decision it was to put the Star Wars: Phantom Menace in theaters for the May the 4th weekend. And you know, if we go over and talk about The Fall Guy, you know. This apparently is one of the lowest openings ever for this month in May. You know, usually the opening week of May and for last week of April are really big months for, you know, movies. And, you know, we don't really have a lot of superhero films, so The Fall Guy went to here. And it did not do great, you know. It only made about $20.5 million. And I'm someone who's reviewed the movie and said that I personally really enjoyed the movie. And, you know, it was also Challenger's second weekend. They managed to get third place, only a 49% drop, which whenever there's a 4 in front of it, you know that that's a good thing. But I think the real story is just how, you know, this was, I think, all Dave Filoni's idea, you know, to get the Phantom Menace back in theaters for the 25th anniversary during the May the 4th weekend, which worked well for them, worked good for Star Wars, but not so great for Fall Guy, you know. Really falling short of its expectations. It was expected to make 30 to 35, and it only made 28. And you know, I think you can expect a really big drop with this movie. You know, the movie is at $64 million worldwide. They spent a lot of money on this, by the way, guys. Of all the marketing they've been doing, you know, I think they made the movie for $130 million, and it has a marketing budget of $230. That's absolutely insane. Like, I get you have such big stars in there, but like, this movie is not going to break even. I'm going to say that. You know, it's a good movie, you know. Possibly, you know, maybe it's talked about in get some Oscar buzz, which I don't think so. But, you know, in truth, this movie, I think, has fallen flat on its face already. And even though I think it's a good movie, I enjoyed it. But this is just not great news. Great news for Star Wars, as I said, but not so great for Ryan Gosling and The Fall Guy. But what are your guys' thoughts? Were you guys surprised by these numbers this weekend coming out for The Fall Guy? And were you surprised how high Phantom Menace was? Please leave comments down below, and let's move on to our second topic here. Marvel right now is in a bit of a shift. You know, we got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. And, you know, the one thing we've all said is that stop introducing character after character. And, you know, a character that people have been really wanting to see also is Captain Britain. You know, they've very much cast Henry Cavill in that role. He is kind of like the British Captain America in a way. You know, there's some mutant stuff in there. And we might be getting closer to getting this show. And that might be a good and bad thing, according to comicbookmovie.com. Marvel Studios rumored to be developing a live-action Captain Britain TV series for Disney Plus. To be quite honest, you know, I'm a bit excited about this, but I also think it's another step back if it's true, because this is just a rumor. I've been thinking for a long time that they need to start moving away from the Disney Plus stuff. I just think it's too much. They've been doing too much Disney Plus. And, they've made some great things. You look at X-Men 97, WandaVision, Loki, free shows that I think are great. But then you also look at the other stuff, the Secret Invasions. What else? The Secret Invasions, the What Ifs, shows that they've tried to get people to watch, but no one watches. And, the thing that we can keep on saying is, why does Marvel keep wanting to introduce new characters? Like, I think that they have enough characters right now where they don't need to introduce anyone else. They got Fantastic Four, Blade. Like, okay, tell me the reason why you can't save a Captain Britain show for after these movies. And maybe this is coming after the 2 Avengers movies. But, I just don't know where Captain Britain would really fit into the story. And, like, why people would watch this show. Why? Because it says Captains. You're like, oh, Captain America, maybe? But if we go down into this article, there's been a bunch of different Captain Britons. A bunch of different Captain Britons. And, I think there's one character that is a mutant, so that they could kind of introduce mutants there. But, I don't know much about the character, I think we have so many, like, Captain America-esque characters as well right now, We have Red Guardian, we have Falcon, Captain America. We have Bucky. We now have a new Falcon. Like, we already have a bunch of people in that Captain America realm, Even U.S. Agent is a Captain America-like character, I just don't, personally, I would say you focus on the properties you have that have worked, Besides developing this, where's Shang-Chi 2, Where's my news on my Wonder Man series, Are we getting a Moon Knight season 2? Like, what's happening with Blade? Figure out that stuff first before you start going into this. I think after the Avengers movies, they're going to go straight to X-Men. I think that's going to be their focus for a while. Maybe with some other Marvel characters showing up. But overall, I think that, of course, I would love to see Captain Britain. But I think maybe introduce him in, like, a Captain America movie. You don't give him his own TV show, because you're doing to the thing you did last time where it's like, oh, everyone's going to watch Moon Knight because it's Marvel. It's like, no, not everyone watched Moon Knight. Moon Knight was really good, but it wasn't great. But not a lot of people watched it because they had no idea who Moon Knight was. But what are your thoughts, guys? Would you be down to see a Captain Britain live-action TV series on Disney Plus, or do you think this is just another mistake of Marvel just trying to give us more and more characters? Leave your comments down below. Let's move on to our next topic here. And our next topic is this. We got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. I don't know if you've heard, it's a little movie coming out from Marvel Studios. And we are expected to get a boatload of cameos in there, And, mostly, if this was another movie, I'd be like, oh, cameos, but this is X-Men. A franchise that has run for almost, in the movie theaters, for about 20 years. Maybe even more. And there's been so many different characters, so we've got to get some cameos in there. But one cameo we've been wondering about. That's Dafne Keen. According to thecomicmovie.com, Logan star Dafne Keen responds to rumors she'll return as X23 in Deadpool and Wolverine. This is very exciting news that it's not a confirmation that she's just talking about it. She's just talking like she'll return. I honestly think that Dafne Keen will return. I think, in the trailer, we see Deadpool and Wolverine, and Deadpool's like, you are the X-Men. And then Wolverine says, I'm not a hero, kid. I don't think he's talking to Deadpool. I think he's talking to an X23 from another universe. Not the Logan universe, but another X23. But, right now, Dafne Keen, she's about to start promoting her new show, The Acolyte, which she plays a Jedi in. And, of course, she was, I believe, there was the first Mexican Comic-Con, the Mexican CCXP this weekend. So, of course, they asked her about it, and this is what she said. I mean, I can't wait. The trailer looked incredible. Keen responded, largely dodging the question. this is all really crazy, and I'm looking forward to it. So, of course, she's not confirming it. She's not saying, of course, she can't say, Andrew Garfield kept on saying, I'm not the werewolf, every time he was interviewed for a Marvel project. So we know that any actors, every X-Men is probably, lying or dodging questions that they're in the movie as well. But she also had to say this. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high in case it doesn't happen, but I really do hope it does because I love playing Laura. She holds a special place in my heart, and she's an incredible character. And, Dafne Keen, I think her career really kicked off playing this character, like a lot of the X-Men actors. The world discovered Dafne Keen through X23. And, she just plays the role amazingly, and I would love to see, a grown-up X23. I don't want us to go, I think Logan needs to stay untouched. None of those characters from that universe need to appear, but maybe you have an X23 from another universe who kind of went through the similar things that X23 went through, like losing Wolverine, And, I think that would play that cameo makes sense in the sense of the film, You have what we see, we have a Logan, a Wolverine who is broken, who apparently, destroyed his own world, maybe he, refused to make a decision, maybe he refused to kill Jean Grey, in Last Stand, or maybe it was another situation where he allowed all the X-Men to die, somehow. And, that could be really interesting, bringing in another version of her, just of X-Ray, to kind of be Wolverine kind of having that final conversation, because it was really hard for a moment in Logan when two of them went together and Logan died. And it was such a great scene. And, maybe you kind of get, as an audience if you're a fan of Logan, get kind of a, what's the word? Some closure to these two characters. And, of course, I would love her to come back and play the role. They are reshooting the movie right now. Not reshooting, but doing reshoots. Which, honestly, me and everyone else thinks they're doing that because they got more people to be cameos in here. Maybe they're filming some stuff with Dafne Keen, or maybe she's already in the film. Please leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Do you think Dafne Keen is coming back, or do you think she will not appear in the film? And let's move on to our final topic here. Oh, DC. DC has I have a love-hate. I would say I have a love-hate relationship with DC, DC, was very much part of my childhood. Very much. I hold them, in super high regards, When I was a kid, I watched Justice League, the Unlimited series, which was, really introduced me to the world of DC when I was a kid. And, of course, watching the Batman anime movies with Kevin Conroy, even the show, watching Batman Beyond, and then, when I got older, I remember watching Man of Steel, and I thought that was the coolest movie ever. Because that's when I started watching Smallville as well. And Superman, I think, is a character that hasn't been handled super great lately by DC, Henry Cavill kind of getting the boot, not really getting to ever, really be Superman. He got one movie as Superman, and then he was just in Batman v Superman, Justice League, but we never got a second movie with him. And now we got Superman coming from James Gunn. Not Superman Legacy, Superman. And James Gunn has graced the gods on this morning by unveiling the first image of David Cornsweet in a suit, and maybe a little idea who the villain is going to be. According to Deadline, Superman David Cornsweet in new suit unveiled from James Gunn film. And, looking at this suit, it is really, really cool. Something about it, though, I really love, he's got the undies. You might not be able to see it, but if you look really closely, he got the undies. And, that just tells you James Gunn wants to take this back to what Superman was. Because I feel like we've really lost that identity of Superman. I loved the more serious, Superman and Superman and Lois CW series. I like the serious Superman and Man of Steel, but, Superman is supposed to be the guy who inspires, be this light, and, I feel like it, back when he was with Christopher Reeves, he was a nerdy, Clark Kent, and like we haven't really portrayed him that in a while. And looking at Drake Hornswet, he's not super jacked. He's not like Henry Cavill jacked. He honestly like looks like Superman. Like you look at the picture, like that is Superman. And of course, he's got the Kingdom Come suit. The suit looks great. Like the suit is exactly like it wasn't exactly what I imagined, but it was in a way a suit that I was kind of imagining in my head, like, okay, what's it gonna look like? But seeing like how great it looks awesome. And we got a little bit more in the background that I don't hear a lot of people talking about right now, is that you look in the background of this image and you can see there is a purple beam and like a purple ball, like purple and turquoise ball behind them. And now I'm thinking, whose color palette is purple? And that purple and that blue might not be blue or turquoise. It might be green. Who is purple or green? Brainiac. I've said, I've told my people and I've told myself for the longest time, if you want to make a really high-stakes Superman movie, you gotta do Brainiac. We have never gotten Brainiac in a movie before, and that just astounds me, Brainiac, I think, is probably Superman's biggest threat. If you're doing Brainiac, this could also relate to, like, the word, that legacy. Maybe that's not in the title anymore, but the title was called Legacy, and I have to believe, that this film is about him discovering his Kryptonian legacy, discovering who he is a bit, and we know that this is going to be a world filled with superheroes, filled with characters like Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, maybe even Supergirl's already in the universe, and, this is, I think, Clark Kent finding his place as not just Clark Kent himself, but his place as Superman. Like, what can Superman do for the world other than these other heroes? And I think that's what's the most interesting about it. And, of course, the suit looks absolutely stunning. And I think this teases that Brainiac is the villain. I have total faith in James Gunn, because James Gunn has made not one, but 4 great comic book movies in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Suicide Squad, one of my favorite DC movies of all time. And he made probably one of the best DC shows in Peacemaker. And, I have full faith. A lot of people are worried, but I'm like, this is going to be a different tone, I think, from James Gunn movies, James Gunn has made very much, like, unknown hero movies, and this is his first time doing a really big one, and I still trust him because, the thing is, you have a director who has made countless projects in the DC, in the superhero realm. At the time, he was going to be Kevin Feige's right-hand man, managing the cosmic side, while Kevin Feige managed everything with the Avengers, that was going to be James Gunn until all the tweets came out, and, that didn't really happen. Then he signed with DC, and now he's the co-CEO of DC Studios. But, it's just a picture, and, this is the first movie kicking off his new franchise. This movie has to be a hit. It's no sugarcoating it, This is a lot of pressure because, you're coming off, this is only coming out, I believe, 3 years after, the DC extended universe has ended, and people really loved Henry Cavill Superman. So you got to do something to make us love David Cornsweet. But I think the suit is absolutely gorgeous. I think, it's really exciting that we might be getting Brainiac in this film, because I think that is exactly what this is teasing. And that's me, guys. What do you guys think about this suit? And do you think Brainiac is the villain in this movie according to this image? Please leave your comments down below. And that's going to be it for this episode of Let's Talk About It. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!